Good morning, everyone. Mark Finan in the Home Weather Office on this 21st day of March 2023. It is going to be a wet day for a while in the area. Also have the possibility of thunderstorms in the area as we have a rather interesting little storm that's moving into California. The best of it still looks as though it's going to be on the central coast where we've already seen some pretty good rain, and into Southern California as well. But for areas like Marysville, Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, we're going to see different results, and this is not going to be a great snow producer. I'll show you more on that in just a little bit. Do want to show you, start with a radar, because this is really interesting. So I use radar scope for this, by the way. And when I'm showing you this, I'm showing you single site radar. So this is off the Davis radar. Now, what I want to point out here is the motion of the rain. You notice how everything's coming from the southeast to the northwest. This is kind of the opposite motion of what we often see. And this is one of the reasons why we're not going to see a lot of snow out of this. This is what we call really poor orographics. Orographics are when we push the moisture up the hill, as in up the west slope of the Sierra, and you squeeze out all the great moisture, get great lift that way. Instead, the air is coming the other way. It's coming out of the southeast, so you're not getting great lift in the Sierra. And while we will see snow, this isn't going to be a great snow producer. But where you are going to get some good lift is here on the coast range, because look at the way that motion is going. So as the air is going up the hills on the west side of, let's say, Yolo County, Colusa County, into Napa County, here's where you're going to squeeze out some really good rain. And while we're probably going to see some nice rain in the Cache Creek watershed, I think that area is going to be okay in terms of the rain amounts. But again, it's this motion that we're going to have to watch. The other thing I want to point out today is when I show you this, I'm showing you a single site radar. So that's the Davis radar. Let me show you the Monterey radar, because if we switch to that one, if I zoom out a little bit, you can clearly see the low here. There it is right there. You can clearly see the low, and the low is moving from south to north. And it's going to be interesting to see what this does today, because a lot of the models are taking it up toward the Bay Area, San Francisco, and then just kind of having it pivot around. And then you'll notice that from the Monterey radar, there's this band of solid rain that, as I'm recording this around 8:30 in the morning, that area of solid rain is almost into the Modesto area, but there are breaks down in here, and it's those breaks that are going to make for things to get a little bit more interesting later on today, as we'll see this area of steady rain give way to the chance of maybe some thunderstorms this afternoon. So let's get to some of the model stuff, and I'm going to show you the two different models, two different high-resolution models, because we're just kind of focusing mostly on what's going to happen today short term. So I'm going to show you the HRRR, which is done pretty well as the NAM Nest, a high-resolution version of the North American model. So here is the HRRR showing you that low that I showed you on radar, and then there is the rain. And as we go through the morning, that rain pivots up to the north, and that low just kind of spins around, and you'll notice that we start seeing some clearing in here. So we may have a couple of hours of rain in one spot before we start seeing some rain. And I'll fine-tune this a little bit more, but these would be thunderstorms. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And notice how the low is just sitting here over in the Bay Area. And where you have the tighter gradients here is where we'll see some gustier winds. It'll be breezy in the valley. We may see some gusts of 30 or 35, but we'll have to see what happens in Santa Cruz and Monterey. Could be much more, much gustier there. And then where the real moisture plume is going is into areas south of Big Sur, down towards Santa Barbara, and the mountains of Southern California are going to get a good amount of snow, although not quite as low as what we saw a couple of weeks ago. This is tonight, a little band of rain. This is what the HRRR is showing. The NAM Nest is going to be a little bit less aggressive with that. But look at what's happening in the Sierra, not much. And while we'll see enough snow from time to time to have chain controls, this, like I said, it's not going to be a good snow producer. This is Wednesday afternoon, and we clear out. Wednesday is just going to be a day with some scattered showers here and there, but not a pretty day. This is the NAM Nest that's going to show you more or less the same thing, although it has a slightly different path with the low. But same here, you see the tighter pressure gradient along the coast, and this is at 2 o'clock this afternoon. This would also be thunderstorms. I'll show you that in a different way in just a second. But that tighter pressure gradient means much gustier winds from Santa Cruz up towards San Francisco and San Jose, with better rain heading into the south. But the rain becomes very hit and miss this afternoon. This is 5 o'clock this afternoon. Not much snow in the Sierra, hit and miss rain for the valley. and then that low is still spinning around off the coast. Let's go through tonight. This is tonight around midnight. A little bit of rain, but then as we get into the day tomorrow, we'll probably start off with some scattered light rain and everything then tapers off. We'll get inches of snow in the Sierra, but not a lot. So I do want to focus on the NAM nest here a little bit more in terms of thunderstorms, because as I mentioned, we'll get that area of clearing here. And as we head through the afternoon, this is about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This line right here that would stretch from maybe Winters through Sacramento or the Elk Grove area, Stockton to Ione, down to Valley Springs and Sonora, that would bring some heavy downpours and maybe even some small hail with it. It's one of those days that I would say anytime between about 1 and 5, we have a really good chance of those thunderstorms. And again, the motion is going to be a little bit different today, more coming out of the due south or maybe a little out of the southeast as everything's rotating around that low. So possibility of thunderstorms today. Also just want to give you a quick look at the big picture here with the 500 millibar chart, because boy, I just still do not see anything warm coming our way anytime soon. So let me move this just a little bit more so it can go through these graphics. So here's that low spinning around off the coast, moving inland. But what I want you to pay attention to is these systems that drop out of the north. This is getting into the day on Thursday. A weak system going by will likely spread some snow showers to places like Plumas County, maybe as far south as Truckee, but not a lot. But this flow is still cold. We'll continue to see cold air with temperatures staying well below average. Next week, the average high for Sacramento goes to 70 degrees. And we don't have anything in the forecast higher than 65, even 62. This is getting into the weekend. I think Saturday would be a mostly dry day. Again, there might be some snow showers in the Sierra, but just not warm. And with these troughs continuing to come our way, these lows continue to cycle through. This is our chance of rain on next Monday, Tuesday. And, we'll see what happens next week. There's still some uncertainty about that, but it still looks as though even into next week, we'll be seeing some of this unsettled pattern, although it'll be somewhat different from what we have today. So today, it's been a slower onset of the rain, but we will see some rain, thunderstorms between 1 and 5 in any of the areas I mentioned, Yolo County, Sacramento County, San Joaquin, and the foothills just to the east of there up to Highway 49. Not much snow in the Sierra, but check the chain controls before you head up that way. It does look as though we could see some from time to time. That's all I've got for you today. I will be on TV at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11. I'll be on Facebook tonight at 8 o'clock. And if any of these thunderstorms turn severe, of course, I'll be hopping on TV to give you an update on what's happening there as well. So we've got a busy day ahead. Have a good day. Try to stay dry, and I'll talk to you later.